Right in the center of North Carolina, which many people think of as NASCAR's unofficial hometown, there is a special place. It's a workshop where a lot of magic has happened. This workshop belongs to a very famous person in American racing history. This person is called Richard Petty, but most people know him as the King. When you hear the name Richard Petty, you instantly think of someone who has achieved a lot in car racing. He's not just famous in NASCAR, but a lot of people outside the racing circle know about him because of his achievements. But first, smash that like and subscribe for more. The Petty family's involvement with NASCAR goes way back to its early years. Richard Petty's dad, Lee Petty, was also a big deal in racing. In fact, he was the very first racer to win 3 championships in NASCAR. So racing was already in Richard's blood because of his dad. Richard decided to continue the family tradition of racing. So he started racing, and guess what? In the late 1950s, he started winning a lot of races. These wins made him really popular and showed everyone that he was one of the best racers of his generation. He didn't just follow in his dad's footsteps, but made his own mark, creating history. In the world of car racing, the color of a racer's car can sometimes become as iconic as the racer themselves. This was definitely the case for Richard Petty. His cars were painted in a special shade of blue, which people began calling Petty Blue. This color became so popular and well known that when people saw it, they immediately thought of Richard. Everywhere you looked, racing fans in America fell in love with both the Petty Blue color and the man behind the wheel of those blue cars. This love and admiration for Richard turned him into a superstar in the country. The popularity of Petty Blue grew so much that it even became an official color. This means that fans could actually buy Petty Blue paint and use it to paint their houses, rooms, or anything else. It was a clear sign of just how influential and beloved the Petty name had become. The 1960s and 70s were exciting times for NASCAR, but among all the racers and all the excitement, one racer stood out from the rest: Richard Petty. He quickly became the hero and face of NASCAR. Back then, there was a big rivalry between Ford and Chevy cars, and everyone in the country was talking about it. Richard Petty was right in the middle of this rivalry, which only made him more popular. At that time, NASCAR races weren't as famous as they are today. They didn't have the big celebrity following, but Richard Petty changed all that. He wasn't just a celebrity, he was a superstar. Every time he raced, fans knew they were in for an amazing show. Even far away in England, young racing enthusiasts would look at pictures of Richard, absolutely fascinated by this legend from across the pond. Back in 1965, NASCAR's head person, Bill France, decided to ban Chrysler's new and different 426 Hemi V8 engine. This decision made the famous driver Richard Petty choose a different type of racing, which is drag racing. He picked a car called the Altered Wheelbase Barracuda and gave it the name Outlawed. During one of his races, a heartbreaking event took place. The Outlawed Barracuda lost control and went straight into the people watching the race. Many people got hurt, and a young boy sadly lost his life. Richard Petty was heartbroken by this accident. He felt so much pain that he even thought about stopping racing altogether. Richard Petty took the car that was destroyed in the accident and buried it in his land. He did this as a way of showing that he was not happy with NASCAR's decision to ban the engine. He also did it because he wanted to forget the sad memories of the accident. But even though he was very sad, he went back to NASCAR. 2 years later, in 1967, he won a big race using the 426 Hemi engine. People thought the Outlawed Barracuda had been thrown away for good, but many years later, someone who knew the Petty family found it in a place where old cars are kept. In 2023, this old car was shown on a YouTube channel called Motorsport Connection magazine. The car is now old and damaged, but still has some of its famous Petty Blue paint. The Outlawed Barracuda tells us that racing can be dangerous and can change people's lives. Richard Petty gave the old car to the person who found it, but he asked them to never fix it. He did this because he has strong feelings about the car. Even though the Outlawed Barracuda had a sad story, Richard Petty still has another Barracuda car from 1965. This car is a way of remembering his great work in racing. It helps people remember why Richard Petty is called the King and how he changed the racing world. Richard's achievements in racing are almost hard to believe. Over a long 34-year career, he won races driving cars from 7 different manufacturers. That's incredible! One of the major car companies that played a big part in Richard's success was Ford. Since the year 1952, Ford cars had won a whopping 50 NASCAR championships. Richard, with his unmatched skills, added more victories to that count. And in 1969, he achieved something truly special. He won his 100th race while driving a Ford Torino. This was a big deal and showed just how dedicated and talented he was when it came to racing. Richard Petty is a monumental figure in the world of NASCAR, and his influence has been both deep and broad. Many admire him for his exceptional skill on the racetrack, but his impact did not stop there. After his retirement in 1992, he didn't just fade into the background. Instead, Richard Petty stepped into a new role as a team owner, creating Richard Petty Motorsports. With Richard Petty at the helm, his team made significant strides. As time went on, Richard Petty Motorsports emerged as a major player in NASCAR, earning respect and admiration from all corners of the racing community. This wasn't only a testament to their present-day achievements, but also ensured that the Petty legacy would continue to shine brightly for years to come. Visitors to Richard's workshop are often left spellbound. The space is a testament to superior craftsmanship and masterful engineering. One of the highlights is undoubtedly the engine of the modified Mustang. Its presence is powerful, commanding attention and respect from all who gaze upon it. Richard Petty, observing the reactions, often wears a smile of pride. To him and many enthusiasts, this car is more than just a visual marvel. It represents the pinnacle of performance, crafted for sheer speed. Taking this unique machine for a drive is an unforgettable experience. The combination of its impressive horsepower and sharp, responsive brakes delivers a ride filled with excitement and adrenaline. This isn't just any car. It feels like a race car, yet a cage doesn't confine it. Driving it awakens a deep-seated thrill and a passion that's hard to forget. Richard Petty is not just a name in racing, he's an institution. Beyond his incredible accomplishments on the racetrack, he's undeniably impacted society at large. Throughout his life, he's been actively involved in various charitable activities. These acts of kindness have made a difference in so many lives, emphasizing that his legacy is not just about speed and competition, but also about compassion and community. It's clear that Richard Petty is not only a champion on the racetracks, but also in the hearts of many. He garnered admiration from both diehard fans and his racing peers. The atmosphere at Richard Petty's workshop is always electric, even as the day winds down. The sounds of powerful engines being tested and the distant cheers of excited fans serve as a constant reminder of the greatness that resides here. Everywhere you look, there's evidence of Richard's influence, an influence that motivates and uplifts everyone around. It's a testament to the fact that with the right blend of dedication, passion, and sheer will, dreams can be turned into reality. The journey of Richard Petty, from his early days in North Carolina to his crowning as the undisputed king of NASCAR, is truly awe-inspiring. It showcases the incredible things one can achieve with unwavering determination and continuous hard work. Richard Petty's achievements, both on and off the racetrack, have set a gold standard not just in motorsports, but in how one can make a difference in the world. The legacy of the Petty family, underpinned by Richard's remarkable contributions to the sport he holds so dear, continues to thrive. And as engines still roar and fans keep cheering, it's evident that the story of the King will be celebrated for generations. What lessons do you think we can learn from the life and career of Richard Petty, the King of NASCAR? And how can we apply those lessons to our own lives and pursuits? Share your insights in the comments below. Hit that like and subscribe for more.